So good morning. Today we will be learning about something called regular grammar. Now, as you all know, grammar is nothing but a set of rules. When you talk about English language, you can write something like this is an apple. Okay, so you have something called a subject, a predicate, then you will be having prepositions, nouns, verbs, and all that. And there is a certain way in which you will be constructing a sentence. Similarly, when we talk about programming languages, you do have something called regular grammar. And as I was telling you earlier, grammar is nothing but description of a language by rules. Okay, you cannot write a sentence like this is apple. Okay, you should have something like a, and, the, and all that. The same way, even when we come to languages, you do have a set of rules and they are governed by something called grammar. Today what we will see is, what do you mean by regular grammar? When you talk about regular expressions, regular languages, you will be following regular grammar. Or in simple words, if you have a regular expression, you should be able to make out a grammar for that particular regular expression. Now, when we talk in formal terms, grammar G is said to be a four tuple. You will have a V, a T, an S, and a P. Okay, so we will be something called variables or non-terminal symbols. You even call it vertices. It is usually denoted by capital letters. It will be denoted by capital letters. You have something called T. You call them terminal symbols, and you will be denoting them by small letters. Or you can say these are the leaves of your tree leaves. You call them terminal symbols. Then you have something called P. P is the most important thing in a grammar. It will define your rules. Rules for both your vertices and your terminals, or rules for your non-terminals and terminals. And S is a special symbol. You will be calling it a start symbol. So, if you go in short, regular grammar is a four tuple where you will be having vertices, which are denoted usually by capital letters. You will have terminals, which are denoted by small letters. You will even have rules, or you say production rules, P, and then you will even have a start symbol called S. Now, we'll see all this with the help of an example. Now, imagine I have a grammar like this. S is ASB. I'll explain each of that. S is AB. So now this is the symbol. Okay, you write an arrow, and then B is B. Okay, so this is a grammar. This is a grammar, a set of rules. I do have three rules over here. This is my production rule number 1, my production rule number 2, and my production rule number 3. Now, with this particular grammar, I will tell you what do you mean by V, what do you mean by T, S, and P. So we'll go for the first one, vertices. Now, vertices are nothing but your non-terminal symbols, or to be very simple, everything which you find on the LHS, it is your vertices. So I have vertices over here, S and B. Everything on my left-hand symbol, I say it is my vertices. Next, I have my terminal symbols. My terminal symbols are the leaves or the small letters. I have two terminal symbols, A and B. The third is my P, or my production rules. As I was telling you earlier, all this is my P. I've got three production rules over here. Production rule number 1, production rule number 2, and production rule number 3. S is my start symbol. Okay, start symbol. Luckily over here, it is S itself. Usually, start symbol is the LHS of your first rule. Okay. Anyway, here this is my first rule. This is my LHS. So this is S. It necessarily need not be S. It could be any alphabet. It could be any alphabet. In this particular example, it happened to be an S. So this is what you mean by a regular grammar. You will have vertices, your LHS. You will have terminals, your small letters or the leaves of the tree. And then you will have a set of production rules and you will have a start symbol. Okay. Now imagine you have a language. Okay. Now whether the language is accepted or not, you can do it with the help of automata. Whether you can accept a language or not, your automata will tell you. The same way, how to generate your language, your grammar will be helping you. So I can say grammar is a set of rules which can generate a given language. So now we will see something called derivation. Now derivations in grammar is nothing but getting a string from the grammar starting from your start symbol S. Now this is the grammar which I wrote before. S is A as B, S gives you A capital B, and then B gives you B. Now we are trying to do derivation of A, B. Now whenever you try to derive any string or any component of a language, you should always start from your start symbol or the first rule in your production. Okay, so I'll write my derivations over here. S is A, S, B. Okay, this is my first derivation. Very simple. At the end of the day, I should be able to get A, B, B by replacing with all these rules. Okay, so now let's try doing it. Okay, let us try doing it. Now look here, you can either use S in the next step and then write a derivation, or you could use B in the next step and then do a derivation. Now S lies on the left, B lies in the right. Now if you use S in the next step, you will call it a leftmost derivation. Okay, if you are trying to replace the leftmost production rule, you call it a leftmost derivation. And then you even have something towards the right. If you're planning to do with this, you will be calling it a rightmost derivation. So you can use whichever you want. The only thing is at the end of the day, I should be getting A, B, B. Okay, so let's try doing it. Okay, S is A. I'm planning to do an LMD. S. Okay, S, I have two things. I can either replace it with this or with this. Okay, so I'll just replace it with my first one. A, S, B. Okay, so this is what I've replaced with this S. And then I write down my B itself. Okay, so now I've got my AA. So this part is okay. My first two parts are okay. AA. Now I've got to replace my S again over here. Now I've got two things to replace. S can either be ASB or AB. Imagine I'm taking the first one. ASB again. And then I write down my B over here. Look here, I'm having a problem. Okay. I'm getting 3 A's. I'm getting 3 A's, which doesn't satisfy what I want, which means, I went wrong over here. I should not have used my first S in the beginning. So, I'll go for another option. It is all trial and error. Okay, I'll go for the other one. S is ASB. Okay, so I replace S with this ASB, which, I'm having a problem when I go down. So, to be on the safer side, I'll go for my second one. S, I'm replacing it with AB. Okay, and then AA, B. B, I have B over here, and then I write B. At the end of the day, I will be getting AABB, which means I have derived it. Okay, so you should be using your rules so that you are able to derive it. You can have more than one production rule for the same symbol, but you know, it is just a trial and error method and a bit of a sense to find out which you should be using. Now, a few things you have to keep in mind is, when you directly look into a production rule, you can even come to this particular last step in a single go. But that is not how you do derivations. In the derivation, at a time, only one vertex can be replaced at a time. You cannot do everything together. At a time, only one vertex or B can be replaced. Now, each of these steps, you call them the sequential form of a grammar. It is even known as sentence form. Each steps which you get from your derivation, you call it the sequential form or the sentence form. Now, once you have done a derivation, you will be able to construct something called a parse tree. A parse tree, or it is even known as a derivation tree. Once you have done the derivation, you will be able to make a parse tree or the derivation tree. Now, this parse tree will follow these steps exactly. I start with my start symbol and I have A as B. So I write A, I've got S, I've got B, and then I replace my S with A and then B. Okay, this was capital B. Okay, then I am replacing this B. Okay, I'm replacing this B with a small b and this with a small b. When you look at the leaves of the tree, you should be getting your required string. That is why I told you in the beginning, your non-terminals are the leaves of the tree. Okay, so this is how you do a parse tree or the derivation tree, and this is even called yield of a tree. Yield of a parse tree or derivation tree. So we start doing a few problems. Now we'll have to generate grammar. Generate grammar for set of all strings of length 2. Now we just follow a common thing. Everything over A and B. Okay, so set of all strings of length 2 means your language will be AA, AB, BA, and BB. That's it, your language. It is a finite language. Okay, so you can give a very easy kind of a grammar. Like I can simply give S can either be AA or AB or BA or BB. That's it. Okay, but this is a very layman kind of a grammar. You can go for a much better way. This doesn't look good. This kind of a notation doesn't look good. Grammar has to be much more formal. So let's try to give a better grammar for this. Now, when we look for the regular expression, it is this. The regular expression for this particular language, set of all strings of length 2 is, you can have the first character either A or B. This is my first character. And the second character, you can have it either A or B. Now, let's see how you develop a grammar for this. Now, there are a few basic things you need to learn. Now, when you want to give a grammar for either A or B, now I'll just use a symbol called A. You write it like this. Okay, either A or B. So this is my production rule for this particular thing. A plus B is A is either A or B. I can even say no, an A followed by another A. Okay, so no, this is my first one. My second one is also A itself. This is another A. So I can say my grammar is this. My start symbol, I can have AA, and my A can be either A or B. This is a much more formal way of representing rather than this kind of a representation. So this is how you represent set of all strings of length 2. Now imagine you had set of all strings of length 3. Okay, all strings of length 3. This is the grammar. Because this will be an A plus B mode. An A plus B mode. Okay, so A, and A is either A or B. And imagine you had of a language which included C also. You will have over here A plus B or C, A plus B or C, A plus B or C. This will be or C, and this would be or C. So this is how you develop grammars. A raised to n is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Now, you have only one building block. Okay. Now, the only building block over here is A. In the earlier question, you did have two building blocks, A and B. Now, here the only building block you have is A. And now, if you talk about the language which this can accept is A raised to n greater than or equal to 0, which means you can either have A or you could have AA, AAA. It would go on. It is an infinite language. This is an infinite language. Now, whenever you need to denote infinite languages, you go for this kind of a production rule. Okay, you can give any notation. No, not for infinite languages. Like when you want repetitions. When you want repetitions like A raised to n, you will be going for something called a recursive grammar. Okay, I'll just write the grammar over here and then show you how I get it. Okay, so this is how you denote A raised to n. So let's try doing a derivation for AA. So this will be how you do it. A, you will get AA. Why I have this epsilon here is for stopping. This is actually my stopping. For stopping, I do have an epsilon. Okay, so I need to prove my AA. So A from my production rule, it is AA. Okay, now I need to get one more A. So I'll write again AA. That's it. I want to stop. So I write epsilon over here. My yield. Okay. Imagine I want only a single A. Imagine I want only a single A. I'll go for AA and then I'll stop. That's it. Imagine I want to go for a triple A. I'll go for AA. This would be again AA. This would be again AA. And this would stop my yield. So always have in mind, whenever you get a term called A raised to n, this will be the grammar. You can even write it like this. A is AA epsilon. Either this or this. Both are the same. Both will give you the same kind of a derivation. Only thing is, if you write this particular rule, grammar, your tree will be right skewed. Your tree will be right skewed because you have the recursion at the right side. If you do this grammar, your tree will be left skewed because you have the recursion towards your left side. So always have in mind, whenever you have a language, a regular expression, you can have more than one set of grammar. Okay, look here. Either this or this. It can be possible. It can be possible depending upon the language. Go for the next one. Set of all strings over A and B. Okay, so we'll directly go into the regular expression. Okay, A or B any number of times. No, that is the language. You can either have A, B, A, B, A, etc., etc. It is an infinite language. Okay, so this is the regular expression. Now we've already seen before when you have. Okay, we learned that. Okay, so now let's see how to build up the grammar for that. Now have in mind, whenever you have more than one term, you will be using this kind of a recursion. Okay, now I had only a term over here A, and then that is why I went for this kind of a recursion, because if you say actually this is A star, A many times, so I went for a bit more advanced A plus B many times. So I can write the grammar like this. S is you can either have A repeating many times, or you can have B repeating many times, or you can stop it. Excellent. Okay, so this is nothing but a bit more advanced version of this. A or B many times. So let's simply try proving it. And let me take a string like A, B, a random string. A, B. I'll just try proving it. This very much follows my question. A, B. So I need to start with small a. So I'll be going for this production tree. So I'll write S is A. So I'll build up the tree. That is easier. A, S. After that, what do I want? I want a B. So next time for S, I will go for B's. After that, what do I want? I want an A. So I'll go for my first one again. A, S. After that, I want a B. So I'll be going for B, S. Yeah, that's it. I'll stop. My yield. This is my tree yield. So now, whichever string you have, let's go for something else. A, B. Let's try doing it. S. A, S. My first A is okay. I want a second A. So I'll go for AS again. I need a third A too. So I'll go for AS. Next, I want a B. So I'll go for BS. Again, I want a B. I'll go for BS. That's it. I'll stop. My yield. My tree yield derived. Set of all strings of at least length 2. Okay. So you're doing everything over A, B. Set of all strings of at least length 2 means, first I'll think of exactly 2 strings. Exactly length 2. Okay. This is length 2. If I talk about this is my length 2. But my question is at least length 2 means 2 should be there. Then 2 plus 0 strings, 2 plus 1 string, etc., etc. So I can write together with A plus B star. A plus B star means it can be either a 0 or a 1 or a 2. So this is my regular expression. Okay, A plus B, A plus B, A plus B star. Okay, so we'll go for the logic which we taught earlier. We'll just give this a name A. This is A. This is also A. This I cannot consider it to be an A because this has got a star over here. So I can give it another name. Let's say I'll give this a name called B. Okay. So now let's try writing grammar for this capital A. Okay. So what is A? A is nothing but it can either be A or B. A is either A or B. Now let me try writing a grammar for this B. B already we saw, it is A raised to N. It comes in the category A raised to N. So, I can write a rule for B. B is either AB or BB or epsilon. Okay. So, I have a rule for my A. I even have a rule for my B. Now, let me construct the whole grammar. Let's start with my start symbol S. So, what is my start symbol? It has an A followed by an A and then followed by a B. So, I'll write over here S is A followed by another A and then followed by a B. What is my A? My A is either an A or a B. What is my B? My B is my A raised to N thing. BB or epsilon. So this is my grammar for set of all the strings of at least length 2. Now we'll go for the next one. Set of all strings of at most length 2. As we've seen earlier, the regular expression at most length 2 means maximum of length 2 can even be a 0 length string. So it will be A plus B plus epsilon. A plus B plus epsilon, because we are even thinking about no length strings. Okay, so you can, these are same. So we'll just give them a nickname AA. We'll try writing a rule for A. A is, can either be A or it can be B or it can be epsilon. Epsilon means you write epsilon because you can have single length string, no length string and all that. And now let us come for the grammar. Start symbol, you have an A followed by another, the same thing, AA. And then what is my A? My A is either A or B or epsilon. So this is my grammar. Set of all strings starting with A and ending with B. Set of all strings starting with A and ending with B means, beginning there should be an A. At the end, there should be a B. In between, I am not bothered. It can be anything. Like, you can have AB if possible. A, this is possible. This is possible, any combination. Okay. So beginning I'll have an A, ending I'll have a B, and then in between I am not bothered whatever it is. So I'll just write a rule for this. This is my same thing, A raised to N. So I'll just write A is nothing but AA or BA or epsilon. Okay, my A raised to N. Now I'll write my grammar. This is my A. Okay, so in the beginning I should have a small a. In the beginning I should have a small a. Then I will have a capital A, and then I will have a small b. And what is my capital A? My capital A is AA or BA or epsilon. So this is my grammar. Mind you, always your LHS should be capital letters. Okay? Your RHS can have a combination of any. So this is my grammar for set of all strings starting with A and ending with B. Okay. Now we'll go for a bit more different. All strings starting and ending with a different character. Starting and ending with a different character, which means, if it starts with A, it should end with B. If it starts with B, it should end with A. Okay? Because, that's what the question is, starting and ending with a different character. So let us write the regular expression. If it starts with A and ends with B, this is how it will be. Starting with A and then ending with B. The next one, starting with B and ending with A, in between, you know, anything. Huh? No. Both sides. So I wrote a plus. So this is starting with A, ending with B. And this is starting with B, ending with A. Okay. Now, these two terms, they are the same. I just given them a nickname for A. And then you even know what is A. What is A? A is either AA or BA or epsilon. Okay. And now I will be writing my room. S. I'll write this part first. I'll write this part first. A. And then my capital A. And then my B. Or it can be B, starting with B, in between anything, and then an A. What is my capital A? My capital A is nothing but AA or BA or epsilon. This is my grammar. For set of all strings starting and ending with a different character. Starting and ending with the same character. Starting and ending with the same character. Which means if it starts with A, it should end with A. If it starts with B, it should end with B. Okay, so if it starts with A, in between it can be anything, it should end with B. Or it starts with B, in between can be anything, it ends with B. And then A is my A raised to n thing. It can either be AA or BA or epsilon. Okay. Starting with A, ending with A, okay, here you'll have to even take, this is even possible. A, single length A, it starts with A, it ends with B, single length B, so you can even write over here, A, B, that is also possible, single length. These two, this and this, it will be at least double length. A, B, it will be double length. But you should even be taking care of this. Single A is possible, single B is possible. So I just give it or, single A, single B. Set of all strings starting and ending with the same character. Now we'll go for something more interesting. A raised to n, B raised to n is greater than or equal to 1. Now, A raised to n, B raised to n means, it can either be AB, it can be AABB. How many ever A's you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those many B's also you should have. That is what this means. Whatever is the number of A's, you should even have the same number of B's. So let's try making a grammar for this. Okay, so you will have a B, sorry, you will have an A, you will have a B. Because n greater or equal to 1, you should at least have 1A, 1B. In between, you can have again A's and B's. Are you getting it? You can have an A and B, and in between, you will be again going on having A's and B's. And then, whenever you want to stop, you can simply give AB. Let's try doing it. Let's try doing AB. Let's try doing this. AB. S is either ASB or AB. If you want to stop, here. That's it. AB. Let's do AAB, the second one. You start over here, ASB. Okay, in between you just need a single AB. When you come to the last term, go for this. Go for this production group. AB. Done. Let's go for this, the big one. S is ASB. This is again ASB. Okay, you are guaranteed whenever you get an A, you will be even generating a B. This will again be ASB. This will again be ASB. 1, 2, 3, 4. ASB. 2, 3, 4, 5. My last one, right? When you reach the last one, simply give an AB. My leaves, my leaf. Okay, so this is my grammar for A raised to N, B raised to N. Even length strings, okay? So, you'll be having the same language over A and B. Now, even length strings means you can have a 2 length or a 4 length or a 6 length or an 8 length, etc. So minimum it should be a 2 length string. So my regular expression will be A plus B. A plus B. This is for my 2 length string. A plus B, I have 2 length. Next it should be 4, 6, 8, etc. Now, so I can go for this. 2 combinations of 2. 2, let you go 4, 6, 8, etc. Okay. So now let's write a grammar first. Same terms. A. So I'll first go for my A. I will directly write the grammar. Now you are experts, right? We'll go simple. I'll go A is either A or B. Okay. So my A is either A or B. And now I'll go for this particular term. A plus B. So this is nothing but B can be either A followed by another. Okay. So this is my B part. My B is A followed by another A. Now what do I need to calculate? I need to do my B star. Okay, so I'll just write I start with my grammar. S is okay. B S B. No, I'm writing for B star. B is S or epsilon. What is B? B is A followed by A. What is A? A is A followed by B. Okay, this is my recursive function for A star. So even length string. A raised to N, B raised to M, N is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so you should be remembering this. What is A raised to N? Okay, the formula for A raised to N. So look here, earlier the question was A raised to N, B raised to N. Both were N, both were same. So N comma M greater than equal to 1. Okay, so N is different, M is different. Okay, so I'll first write for A raised to N. So I can write A is AA or A. I'm writing A over here because it is greater or equal to 1. If it was greater or equal to 0, I would have given an epsilon. Now I'll write for B. B is BB or B. BB or B. And now I'll write my grammar. This part is by A, this part is by B. So you know A, B. What is A? A is AA or A. What is B? B is BB or B. BB or B. Let's try simply doing one. You can do it yourselves. Try doing it for AA triple B. Numbers of A and B is different. You can try proving for this. You can try proving for AAAB. We can draw a tree and check whether it holds true. It will be holding true. A raised to N, B raised to M. We'll go for a bit more. A raised to N, B raised to N, C raised to M, N and M greater than or equal to 1. It was a copy paste, so I forgot to write M over there. You can write it. So you'll have A, you even have a B, you even have a C. Okay, so you can treat this as a single term because we already know the formula for that, the grammar for that, and this you can treat it as another term. I'll say this is an A and this is a B. So now just directly write my grammar. S is A followed by B. What is my A? A I already know. It is A B or AB. What is my B? I got my B just in the previous one. So B is nothing but CB or CB or C. Okay, this portion I took it from my previous formula. I took it from this formula directly. And my B raised to M, I took it from just the previous list. I combined it. That's it. A raised to N, B raised to N. I did this together because both were N. We'll do one more. Look here. This is actually almost same as this. Almost same as the previous one. But the grammar will be entirely different because the C comes in between. C comes in between. Your N term is being splitted. Your N terms are splitted. Earlier, your N terms were together. Now your N terms are splitted. You do have a C in between. Okay, so this you can try doing it on your own. Okay, you can try A raised to N, C raised to M, and then B raised to N. Or I'll show you an easier method of doing this. See, this term and this term together, you can think of A. And in between that, another term is there. Your first term and your third term together is an A. And in between that, your third term has come in. Okay, so you can write S is, okay, I'll first write for A and B. So, what was your A? So, tell me the rule for A. ASB. So this is okay. This is okay. Now I want a C in between. No. Whenever I want a C in between, I will go for CAB. I should be going for CAB. CAB. Yeah, just a single C. So I'll go for my terminal. So whenever you want a C in between, you will be going for this production. So AA, CBB, satisfied. So this is the production rule when you want a C in between A and B, both raised to N.